gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good morning, CaneSport. It's June the 27th, 2022. I'm Gary Ferman, the publisher of CaneSport.com, joined as always by our managing editor, Matt Shodell, as we discuss the news of the day presented by Life Wallet, where the time is now to take charge of your personal health. And Matt Shodell, the time was now. Jaden Rashada, the quarterback, commits to Miami on Sunday. It has been a long and winding road. I know that you've had mixed feelings about that road that was traveled along the way. But, Matt, it ends in a happy landing spot for Miami. Your thoughts?
This is not about Jaden Rashada. This is about NIL, and it's just a new it's a new recruiting, and we have to all get used to it. And it worked out great for Miami. I mean, Jaden Rashada is an amazing prospect, amazing addition for the program. I heard whispers all weekend that like Florida and Texas A&M, they had people who were promising NIL deals to their players that aren't happening to the extent the players wanted. And it's just a slippery slope. So if you hear 5 of your friends at some school that's offering you whatever amount of money, $1.5 million, whatever, say, yeah, they promised me whatever, and I haven't seen anything yet. Are you going to go to that school? And even if they're offering double what you're getting somewhere else, I mean, I don't think you would. And that's not how I in the past, the student athletes chosen a school. But this is working out great for Miami. Like, if you're a Miami fan right now, like NIL is the best thing ever because right now Miami, the reputation of Miami players, anyone asks them, they'll say, yeah, I mean, I'm getting paid what I was supposed to get paid. There's no issue. And Ruiz, the slippery slope is Ruiz cannot make an offer, even a promise, even a number to a recruit. It's against NCAA rules. Now, does it happen at every school? Yeah. I'm not going to say Ruiz does it or doesn't do it. I'm not going to weigh in on this stuff. But it casts a shadow on every program in the country when these kids are choosing schools based on what is presumed to be an NIL number. And it's eventually the NCAA is going to try and figure out what the hell's going on.
Okay, but let me stop you for a minute. This Jaden Rashada thing played out the way it's supposed to play out. I mean, Jaden Rashada knows that he's getting NIL no matter where he goes. Try not to choke on the ice cube again, will you please? Jaden Rashada knows he's getting NIL no matter where he goes. So that wasn't an issue. The issue was this going to become a bidding war? It did not. Because if it was a bidding war, he would have committed to Florida yesterday, okay? Because Florida offered him an enormous amount of money. Matt just mentioned the figure 1.5. That is what we heard, okay? We heard that the Gator Collective was willing to go 1.5 for Jaden Rashada. I do not believe, and I'm not going to speak in definitive terms because we don't know, I don't think that Life Wallet is going to go to that extent. Okay, that is not the model. John Ruiz has made it very clear he does not engage in bidding wars. He's been very fair with everybody he's done business with. Well over 100 athletes now. There were a couple that have gotten a little bit more than others, presumably because their market value demanded it, and Jaden Rashada would certainly fall in that category. But there's no way that John Ruiz and Life Wallet are getting into this whole bidding war with the Gator Collective at an amount that is just so ridiculous that it is going to upset the apple cart of the entire NIL program. Okay? And they learned the lesson with the Wong Pack situation. And I think that, that taught them something about this NIL world, and I don't think that they're going to make those mistakes again. But the bottom line is, even though Miami probably doesn't offer the same amount of money, Matt, as Florida did, Jaden Rashada still chose to go to Miami. We'll commit to Miami. Okay, we're 6 months from signing day.
Well, I mean, you cut me off. I was just trying to basically say it's a slippery slope because if the NCAA gets involved, everything disappears. No player is going to come. Right now, if it just stays the way it is, with Mario Cristobal's recruiting, with the staff's recruiting, with the systems that are in place, with the administration backing, with the new facilities, with everything that's happening, combined with an NIL deal that the perception is for players and recruits is solid. Like, you will get paid. And yeah, I mean, you hear numbers thrown around to Miami recruits coming out of Miami that you would never dream of in the past, but it's being done everywhere. Is it against the rules? Yes. You hear it. I'm not going to say they're doing it because that'd be against the rules. But my point is, if the NCAA just keeps its hands off and says, we don't want to have another lawsuit, we don't want to be involved, John Ruiz will sue the NCAA, by the way, in 2 seconds if they get involved with any of this stuff. I don't think the NCAA wants to be involved in this. So if they just keep their hands off, it's the perfect storm for Miami. And this program will be back in no time to the top of the national rankings, because this class, the way I see it coming together right now, given the current circumstances, with Florida having issues with their NIL, with Texas A&M having issues with their NIL, that's what I'm hearing whispers about. Those are the schools that in the past have stolen Miami recruits with what people would call bags. You don't need bags anymore. It's funny. I was talking to Lance Leggett yesterday. I said, Lance, why weren't you at Legends Camp? But I was actually called Lance. Listen, I mean, we don't just call recruits. Lance is very tight with Cormani McLean. I was actually just calling to discuss some Cormani stuff. But Lance is a good friend of mine. I love Lance Leggett to death. We've been very friendly ever since he was in high school, and ever since I went to his graduation party with him and DeMarcus Van Dyke. That was a long time ago. But and we actually filmed the two of them. I filmed the two of them in the parking lot outside the graduation party, going one-on-one. I think we actually posted it on CaneSport as a joke or something, but that was funny. Anyway, that's non sequitur. My point is, I called Lance Leggett, and I was joking with Lance. I said, I thought recruiting was bad when you committed to 3 different schools, and then wound up back at Miami. I said, what would have happened, Lance, if NIL existed when you were a recruit? I said, you would have committed to 10 schools. You just kept going to the highest bidder and the highest bidder and the highest bidder. And he said, you're right. He says he wishes NIL, of course, was there, because right now he's involved in actually, it's going to be, I think, very successful peanut business, believe it or not. I think he said it's in 150 stores already, a bunch of them in Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach. So look for Lance Leggett's Peanuts. I wish I remember the name of the company, but anyway. But the point being, picture a recruit like Lance Leggett. He wasn't guided very well in the recruiting process. He's 17. Think about how hard recruiting is without NIL, without figuring out how that all works, without an agent or a lawyer trying to tug you in one direction or another. And I talked the other day about how one kid said he's not sure he's visiting Miami. He's got to talk to his agent. I found out another kid has a lawyer already hired.
Hey, all the good kids have them.
It's out of control. And you can only imagine for somebody who doesn't really know what they're doing. Basically, the agent or lawyer is just going to say to them, here's where you're going. This school, the NIL is not real. This school, we can get you this much money. That's where you should go. And the kid will be like, okay. The kids aren't making the decisions. The families aren't making the decisions in those scenarios. In the Lance Leggett case, maybe that's better. Let the lawyer make the decision for Lance instead of, him making 20 different commitments. But the point is, this is nothing like we've ever seen before. And I don't know if I'm sad or happy. I'm happy in the sense that I think Miami is going to benefit from it. But I'm sad in the sense that you have that nostalgia of the old days where, players were playing for the fun of the game, for the love of the sport. They want to be part of a team. They want to lift up their teammates. Now it's going to be an individual sport. Let's face it. That's the truth. It's going to be an individual sport. The player with the most stats gets the most money. And I guess it's the NFL, and the minor leagues of the NFL, I guess, basically. I don't know how else to describe it. And it is sort of sad. I mean, it is sort of sad in that sense.
All right. So here's the thing. It's really not that difficult to kind of conform to the way you're supposed to do it. I mean, most of these top kids that are getting any type of significant NIL deals have representatives. It's not hard for the representative to reach out and say, hey, just covering my bases, want to introduce myself. I'm going to be representing Jaden Rashada. What is, your basic framework on NIL, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, that's what they ask, right? And that's what they ask. What's your basic average deal you do for other players? Yeah, that's what they're asking, Gary. Right, yeah. Right. You're right on top of that.
No, you know what I'm saying. I mean, it's not that hard to not sign a deal before you're a student. I mean, but like you said, what's happening at some of these schools is deals are being floated. Kids are choosing to go to those schools. And then when they get there, they find that the real NIL deal is not what they were told it was going to be. And that is what's filtering out onto the street and is impacting some schools.
And by the way, that's the NCAA's fault. The NCAA is supposed to be all about the student athlete. If they were about the student athlete, let them sign the deal. Right now, it almost is like bags. They're saying, listen, once you sign with the school, then you can find out what you're worth. Why can't they find out what they're worth in high school and get paid what they're worth? It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
They're the ones causing the problem here. Right. I mean, it's a little silly to talk about going to the highest bidder for a college student athlete, but that's where we're at. That's what they're doing anyway. The NCAA is taking a hands-off approach right now. Will it change? I don't think so, because Ruiz will sue them for 10 years. But at the same time, they should just either let it happen, or I don't know what the alternative would be. Maybe take away the transfer portal is the only thing I can possibly see that would even be legal on their end to prevent free agency every single year for every single college student athlete, which is going to happen for every top kid who wants to get paid, where they can legally, at that point, get a contract signed somewhere else if they want to. I mean, if Tyler Van Dyke wanted to come back next year, you don't think a school losing a quarterback, if they're, in Alabama or whoever that needs a top quarterback, you don't think there's somebody there who has a company and $1 billion, maybe not in Alabama, but maybe USC, that says, hey, you come here, we got $10 million for you, and they'll sign the contract right there. And
I heard Notre Dame was
that's not the verbal promises that we hear are being reneged on at a couple of schools. That's an actual contract that has to be upheld. This is what's going to be happening after this season with a lot of kids. And we saw the tip of the iceberg with the Pittsburgh receiver, Addison. It's going to be it's going to be everybody, every good agent, good lawyer. If you're representing your client correctly, they should test the free market, because who's to say that one school is going to pay him the most money? And if John Ruiz isn't willing to get in bidding wars, guess what, man? Miami needs more of John Ruiz's, okay? Because John Ruiz has to be okay with getting in bidding wars. He can say he's not all he wants because they don't want to pay more, but he better be okay with it, because otherwise Miami's going to lose kids after every season that are really good players. It's just going to. That's where this is heading, Gary.
But they haven't lost anybody, and I heard Notre Dame was trying to make a run possibly for Tyler Van Dyke, and nothing ever came of it. We didn't even hear about it. But I mean, you're right; it's possible. But listen, I think the way NIL is being handled at Miami has been impeccable. I really do. I think John Ruiz is all over this thing. And do I think it's going to change at some point? I do. I mean, simply because they have to keep it out of recruiting. They really do. And it's only going to get worse and worse if it stays in recruiting and is in recruiting. And they have to figure out a way to keep it from impacting recruiting. Once they do that, I think they'll be in good shape. But so far, Miami's been able to navigate through all this. And, this is not the first time that another school theoretically was a high bidder for a player that ended up coming to Miami. I mean, it happened with Nigel Pack. He took a $400,000 life wallet deal. Somebody else that offered him $500,000. So some of these kids are being smart. They're not turning it into a bidding war. They're not just taking the highest offer they can get out there, whether it's extended within the exact framework of the rules or not. But they're making the best decisions involving a lot of different factors, with NIL as one of those factors. So Jaden Rashada now in the quarterback boat, so to speak.
And by the way,
I'm just going to say, I'm going to let you talk again in a second. I just want to point out that he is in the quarterback boat with Emory Williams. Okay, now there's two of them. My question to you: does Emory Williams stick in this deal like he said he would?
I don't think Emory Williams is afraid of competition. At the same time, I don't think he's thrilled to have one of the top probably 3 pure passers in the country that's going to be competing with him from day one.
But there was only going to be him or Dante Moore. They weren't recruiting anybody else. So before Emory Williams committed, he knew this possibility existed.
Of course, and he said he was fine with it.
Yeah, right.
But you have to remember the reality of the situation is when Emory Williams committed, it appeared at the time that Jaden Rashada was going to take the UF NIL deal that may or may not be real.
Yeah.
And it didn't appear Dante Moore was coming here. And Emory Williams didn't have the offers coming through. Like we spoke about, he was waiting on an App State offer. There were schools like that had evaluated him and hadn't offered. And I think Emory Williams is a great quarterback. You watch his film, he looks like he'll be a really, really good college passing quarterback. Is he a dual threat like Jaden Rashada? No. Does he have Jaden Rashada's accuracy now? No. Does he have Jaden Rashada's arm now? No. He knows these things. It doesn't take a rocket scientist as a player to compare yourself to somebody. And I don't know at the end of the day that A, Miami needs 2 quarterbacks in the class, or B, that Emory Williams stays in the class, or C, by the way, that Jaden Rashada doesn't get a real offer from some other school down the road. Because if Jaden Rashada gets $1.5 million or $2 million real offer through his people, hypothetically, at some school that's legitimate and that he knows it's going to happen, and if, like you said, Mr. Ruiz does not want to, negotiate, I don't know what happens. I don't know what happens. This is the problem with NIL. I just wish kids could sign. I don't understand why kids can't just sign. Why do they have to commit and then wait 6 months? Let them sign. Like, if you're going to do NIL and you're going to have these kids doing all this craziness, let them sign and then sign an NIL deal.
That might be something that has to change, Matt. You could be onto something there. Maybe the signing day goes away and it's an open signing. It's open signing so that when a kid commits, he can sign his letter of intent and then he can go get his NIL deal. That might be the answer to solving this entire problem. Can I find out who the contact is at the NCAA enforcement and set up an appointment?
I actually got it right. Here it is. It's Manny Diaz. I'll give you his number off air, but I have it right here.
But no, you might be onto something there. That could be a way to do it. Like, just open signing.
They're never going to
sign when you're ready.
It makes too much sense, Gary. They'll never do it.
But that could be the answer, because then you take the recruiting out of the NIL. Hopefully, well, no, you'll never take it out. But the truth is that's not going to happen. But it would be better, at least, if a kid could sign and then go negotiate an NIL deal simultaneously. Like, just take all the gray out of the entire situation. But anyway, so as it pertains to the quarterback competition, right now it looks like they're both coming. You got 6 months till signing day. Obviously, that could change. But I think getting Jaden Rashada was a big thing for Mario Cristobal in Miami, Matt, because I think it now gives them some momentum in recruiting that they can build on. And I'm expecting in this month of July, even though it's a dead period, it's a time when kids are going to be taking a step back and evaluating their options. And a lot of them are going to be making the announcements and commitments before they start their seasons. And I think getting Jaden Rashada is a great step in the right direction that could open the floodgates to several other commitments here in the coming days and weeks.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think there's going to be I think Tommy Kinsel will either flip or what's the word? Restay. I don't know. I'm drawing a blank. Either or stay with Florida in the next few days. You got July 1st, Riley Williams, Jackson Howard, Collins. July 4th, you got Francis, Darren Reed. July 5th, you got Tony Rojas, who's I don't think is coming here. All the previous guys, by the way, there's a chance with, especially Maui-Goa and Riley Williams, I think are almost certainly coming here, but we'll see. July 9th, Jalen Braxton, right in the mix there, decent chance. And then there's more, there's Peyton Kirkland, Malik Bryant later in the month, Jalen Bonsu, August 20th. I mean, these are guys Miami's all in the mix with, could get any of them. And there's so many other guys. These are all national guys. Wait till the local guys start wanting to come. I mean, this is going to be, there's no limit on the number of recruits you can sign this year. This could be a 25 or 30 person class, maybe even more if Miami has a great season. Like, that's how ridiculous this recruiting has gone. And I'm not going to get into the numbers, but then we got to look at who are we cutting.
Not get into numbers.
But then you look at who are we cutting. That's the truth. Because they'll have upgraded the roster to the point that a player who is good last year, maybe even a borderline starter, won't be as good as some of the incoming talent to the point where they'll be like, listen, just go in the portal, Because you bring in 30 kids, that's over a 30-year roster. And they've only got, I think it was 7 or 8 kids graduating. So, I mean, it's going to be crazy.
All right. So let me move on to some of the other stuff that's on the website. This morning, a huge visit weekend. I think there were 12 of them, 12 official visitors that came in this weekend. We've got updates on them all on the website. If you haven't seen that yet, make sure you take a look at that. It was Legends Camp weekend as well. We were out there all day Saturday, tons of coverage, entrance interviews with a bunch of players and a bunch of former players that were really good. I even had the chance to interview Ed Orgeron on his way into Legends Camp, and that was a lot of fun. Gotta love Coach O. He's the best. And yeah, so make sure you check all that out. The interviews are on our YouTube channel and posted on the website. We've got a bunch of stories that recap the Legends Camp weekend, and make sure you take a look at that as well. So there were a couple future quarterback prospects, Matt, that were out there this weekend, and I had a chance to watch their throwing session with Frank Ponce, which was kind of interesting. One of them was Adrian Posse, transferred, as you know, from Pace to Miami Columbus. He was exhausted. Okay, he went out to SMU to check out Rhett Lashley and what he's going on at SMU. Flew home on a red eye, got no sleep. Came out to the Cristobal camp and participated, and then had a private workout with some of the other quarterbacks with Frank Ponce at the end of the Legends Camp day. And it was interesting. Got a chance to talk to Adrian, got a chance to talk to his dad. They literally live, I didn't know this, Matt, they live a couple blocks from the Miami campus. I mean, they can almost walk there. And it was pretty clear to me that Adrian would like to be in the picture at Miami. But it also was pretty clear to me that it's gone a little slow so far. Miami's just had so much going on, obviously, with two quarterbacks in this class. They haven't really started focusing on quarterbacks for 2024. But we've got a story with Adrian Posse about his workout and what's going on with him. And then we also have a story on 2025 quarterback Colin Hurley, which is really, really interesting. He's a guy that Miami loves. We know that, and is moving up on a lot of charts. He's not the prototypical he's not a big quarterback like Tyler Van Dyke, and Posse is a tall, prototypical looking quarterback. Hurley's more of an athletic type of quarterback, but I watched him throw, Matt. He's very accurate, and I think Miami has already made it pretty clear to him that they love him in the 2025 class. So it's nice to see this recruiting taking place with an eye towards the future as well. As intense as things were this weekend with the 12 official visitors, all those prospects out at Legends Camp, Jay Collette, you're going to be happy with me again because I'm about to say it one more time. They can walk and chew gum.
I'll touch on Hurley because, look, the class of 2024 at quarterback, if I'm a top quarterback, I'm not sure I'm coming to Miami. I mean, especially if the two quarterbacks stay in this class. If they have Jake Garcia and Jakari Brown. I would say it wrong, Jakari Brown. So you're really looking at 2025 as for your top quarterback. If you don't take a 2024 quarterback, you can always take a transfer. But you can say to the top, if the offense is humming like I think it will be, you can say to the number one quarterback in the country in 2025, listen, we didn't even take a 2024 quarterback. This team is yours, man. Because if you have a good enough quarterback, he's gone after 3 years anyway. So quarterback can come in. It could be, hypothetically, I guess, it would be Rashada's last year, and then that guy takes over. I mean, who doesn't want to do that? And if it's a great offense, which I think it will be, then, that's the class you're targeting. The problem is, from what I've been told, is right now, and there's a lot of time, 2025 quarterback class is not a good national class. Hurley's like the best sort of that they've found, and he's good. He's really good.
It's early.
He's really good. But we have to see how he develops. These are 2025 kids. It's really hard to say 2 years out what they're going to look like. Will he grow 3 inches? What sort of skills will he develop between now and then? What kind of knowledge base will he develop? So someone's going to emerge, certainly nationally in that class, probably a few guys. I think Hurley will be one of them. And I think Hurley wants to come here. I think they want Hurley to come here. Right now, he'd be the quarterback, if push came to shove and it was snap your fingers, 2025 is here tomorrow. That's probably the guy who signs, but we got to wait and see.
And he still has 2 years of high school ball left. So,
That's what I'm saying.
It's really early. All right, a couple other notes, things that are on the website for you guys to check out. Nathaniel Ray Joseph, had a great official visit. We can't imagine it's going to be too many more days before he commits to Miami, so we got our eyes open for that. But a real good story about how much he enjoyed his visit on the website. God, there's so much more. I'm not going to talk about every single story, but one that I really,
We could talk for 3 hours. I mean,
I know,
Legends Camp,
really could, but one thing I do want to draw everybody's attention to is Mario Cristobal spoke on Saturday, and he's so eloquent, and he delivers his message so loud and clear every time he talks. It would be good for you guys to check that out and just see what's on Mario's mind these days. But it seems, Matt, like he's extremely bullish on the way things are going and the way things are coming together in the program.
Listen, it's time for my DNR, Gary, okay?
All right.
Matt's Daily Negative Rant. I asked Mario Cristobal a question, and for the second time, precluding my question, he mentioned my gray hair. And I would like to point out that my hair is silver. It's not gray. I didn't really want to discuss it with Mario in front of all the reporters. However, Mario, if you're watching, it's silver. Stephen Field, if you're watching, I can run faster than you, bro. Don't even try it. And in terms of what Mario said, it was a great interview. Mario, this is maybe not a DNR. I don't know if it is. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. My whole life's a DNR. But basically, Mario Cristobal held this, not impromptu, but planned sort of media throng gathering outside of the IPF while a little bit of the action was just starting inside. And he's so eloquent and so good. But Al Golden spoke the same words, and Al Golden believed the same things. Yes, he did. When Al Golden first took the job, everyone was like, oh my God, he studies psychology. He's talking about this, talking about that. So then I woke up and I realized this is totally a different situation, But what I want people to understand is people are posting on the message board like, wow, look what Mario said. It doesn't matter what he says, okay? That's what I'm trying to get to. It doesn't matter what he says. We've heard what these past coaches have said. The first few months these past coaches have been in the office, they've tended to say the right things, and people are all fired up and excited. Remember how excited people were when the new Miami #TNM came out? You may not remember it, Gary. People were very excited.
Oh, I remember. The new Miami.
People were very excited when Al Golden took the job and started talking about his vision for the program. Okay? What I'm trying to explain is this is different. And you guys know me. I'm Mr. Negative. I just tell you how it is.
It's different because he's backing it up, right?
Can I speak?
I'm asking.
This is different than when everyone was excited about Al Golden and his golden tongue. And, Randy Shannon's going to get every recruit in the tri-state area to come here. He's such a great recruiter. And, and all this other stuff. And Mark Richt, oh my God, we finally got the big name head coach we needed. Like, you can point to every coach that's been hired. There was excitement, mirroring perhaps even the excitement around this coaching staff when it started. The difference this time, and I don't fall for all the sweet words and throwing out candy and talking about how my hair looks so amazing or doesn't look amazing, okay? I am seeing the proof. And the proof is when I talk to some people I know at the program and they say, and they worked for the previous staff, and they're saying, I have never worked this hard in my life. This guy knows what he's doing. The proof is they have an NIL system outside of the school. It can't be within the school, but an NIL system that essentially is unrivaled. They have a recruiting staff that understands how to recruit. They have guys that aren't even coaches that are making impacts. I have recruits telling me Jason Taylor is my highlight was seeing Jason Taylor and working with him. Ed Reed's still around once in a while. And they have hired just an amazing group of people and an amazing group of hard workers. And it all starts with recruiting. And I've said that, and everyone knows that. In college football, it starts with recruiting. You can point to the transfer portal all you want, people. I will never, ever agree with any of you who say you can win a national championship consistently by going into the transfer portal every year. I don't think it's true. And what Mario is doing in recruiting and what I see coming together, I posted some of the guys who I think are pretty much locks on the board the other day. And when you go down those locks, and you realize there's other 50-50s they're in it with who are national recruits. We have not seen this level of recruiting at Miami in 20 years. And I'm telling you, that's the truth. And I told you guys when this started, I said, I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know what's going to happen. I want to see it. I have to see it to believe it. I still need to see him as a coach on the field because let's face it, FIU and Oregon, it's a little different level. Oregon, they lost to Utah a couple of times. It wasn't like they were ruling the country from Oregon. It was Oregon, but he landed some really good recruits there. And now he's here, and I want to see when the games come around, if he can really, if you can see the improvement from the players that returned last year, okay, the guys we know that played last year that are coming back, how much better are they this year? Are they the same? Because that's what we've seen for 20 years is guys not getting better. If these guys from last year, you already have a noticeable difference. If he can have Wayne Minsteed take a good angle and make a tackle on a wide receiver running free, okay, things like that, where they're being taught correctly, you add that, the coaching aspect of being taught correctly, which we can't see yet. So like I said, I got to see it. But I think it's there. But when I see that and combined with what I already know because I cover recruiting so closely, it's the perfect storm. I mean, I've used perfect storm a couple of times now. Sorry, guys. But it is. So like negative Nancy, Nellie, Billy, Willie is going to become positive Paul, Peter, and Mary because that's where it looks like it's heading right now. So fans should be excited. If I'm optimistic, fans should be extremely excited. And I'm optimistic right now. That's my DNR or PNR, whatever.
How all of that came out of a comment that everybody should take a moment and watch Mario Cristobal's interview from Saturday and read what he said.
That's my whole point.
How a 10-minute speech came out of that, I have no idea.
Don't watch it. It's a waste of time. Don't watch what he says.
Don't listen to him. Watch
what the results are.
Watch it. It's interesting. Don't listen to him.
I've seen so many coaches who talk beautifully and say wonderful things, and I get very disappointed. Okay? I don't want to hear the great things he's saying. I want to see the results. And I'm starting to see in between the lines, not what he's telling me. Okay? I don't need I don't need the North Korean or the Russian rhetoric, okay? I don't need to be told how great everything is, okay? I don't need to watch CNN or Fox to realize what the hell's going on in the world. Okay, I can see the results.
But some of our viewers might, Matt. Some of our viewers might. Like you live it every minute of every day. You know exactly what he's saying. You understand what that the message and all that because you hear it so often. But our viewers don't hear it every minute of every day like we do. And I think that they would enjoy the message. And that's why I said that they should look at that content.
Our viewers should just watch us. They don't need to watch Mario. We tell the truth. Mario's a coach. He's never going to tell you the bad stuff. We'll tell you both. We'll tell you the good Mario stuff and the bad stuff. Right now, there isn't a lot of bad stuff. It's all good.
There's not a lot of bad right now. No, recruiting is turning the corner. I think you're going to see a lot of good news here in the next several days and weeks. And we will never ruin commitments ever, ever, ever. Okay. But I'm telling you guys, there are some commitments coming up that are going to make everyone very, very happy. And or at least it looks like they're coming up as of right now.
I'm not just talking about one or two. We're going to get some really good players on board. The key is to get them to sign. I want them to sign.
Get to December, correct?
Yeah.
But no, it is trending in the right direction right now, and a lot to be excited about. All right, that's going to do it for today for Good Morning CaneSport. For Matt Shodell, I'm Gary Ferman. We thank you once again for starting your day with us, and we'll see you tomorrow, everybody.